Alright, this guy, Bebop, is almost done. I don't want to push the highlights much farther, but there's one last step that's really going to bring him to life. We're going to dry brush the metallics. I got my dry palette and pulling out some metallics. I've got gunmetal and rough iron here. We'll start with gunmetal. It's a good mid-tone for armor and weapons. Okay, let's talk dry brushing. For steel, I always base it with a blue-gray to give it that realistic undertone. You want to use a big, soft brush. These brushes are made for dry brushing, something fluffy. You can use a makeup brush or a big synthetic, but not a detail brush. You don't actually want it dry. You want it slightly damp, so I'm going to do a little bit of dampness on this paper towel. Then you load it up with paint pretty thoroughly, and then wipe it almost all off. Wipe off way more paint than you think you need to. You just really want a faint shimmer left when you test on your hand or on the paper towel. Now use short, light strokes. You can think of it kind of like dusting the mini. You're not scrubbing it, you're just kind of dusting the edges, trying to catch the raised edges so they pick up the light. If you start seeing streaks or big chunks of metal showing up on the flat parts, you've got too much paint on the brush still. Wipe more often, keep it light. You'll see it start catching the light on the bracelets, on the tops of the grenades, the chains on his arms. That's exactly what we want. To shine only really where the light would naturally hit. In terms of order, you want to do this the very last step. Seal the whole mini with any matte varnish you're going to do before you start your metallics. That keeps early work safe, and also it helps the metallics keep their shine and not get dulled down. I probably do need a smaller dry brush for some of these details, like his nose ring and the chain, to keep the metallics off the rest of the model. This already gives a great sense of depth though. He's looking less like he's got a painted blue chain and more like real metal catching the light. Alright, I'm calling him done, but I almost dipped this in my regular wash water. Those tiny, I think they're mica flakes in metallic paints, they get on everything. So if you rinse in the same cup, you end up with sparkly skin tones or shimmering reds next time. You don't need separate brushes, that's probably overkill, but separate water and a separate palette are probably a must. There we go. Bebop's armor is shining just right now. We've got clean highlights and deep shadows, and hopefully no stray glitter in sight. And that's how you make metallics look like metal and not just metallic paint.